to adjust to the cold realities of capitalism. The Lomographers couldn't have picked a worse time.
Когда в России начались реформы и пошла перестройка с плановой экономики на рыночную, Ломо увидела, что дальнейшее производство и кино, и фототехники не позволит Ломо конкурировать с открывшимся рынком.
So we went there, we had the meeting with Lazar Salmanov. Then he told us in the last 15 minutes before we left again, he told us, by the way, we will stop the production now of this camera because we think we cannot sell it anymore. This is old Soviet crap, so now people like other Japanese cameras.
Раньше же мы выпускали до 1,5 миллиона фотоаппаратов в год, начиная от смены 8, любителя и вот Lomo Compact. И вот в 90-х годах, когда на рынках России появились, на рынках Советского Союза появились уже фотоаппараты китайского производства, мы их так называем у нас в простонародье мыльницы, с пластмассовым объективом, которые стоили копейки, у нас получилось так, что мы вынуждены были сворачивать производство фотоаппаратов. И в том числе и Lomo Compact, несмотря на то, что это был великолепный фотоаппарат.
As news spread, groups began to spring up in other cities, first Berlin, then London. They would become the pioneers of an unusual art franchise system of so-called lomographic embassies, with ambassadors to sell cameras, mount exhibitions, and help feed thousands of snaps to the Lomo World Archive, an ambitious proposal to document the entire surface of the planet.
Lomo came into my life in 1994. After about 2 years of searching for Lomo, I had finally found the address of the guys in Vienna, Matthias and Wolfgang, and I called them up and I wanted to order a camera for myself, which they answered by the question whether I had a fax machine or not, and whether therefore I would qualify as Lomographic ambassador. Luckily I had a fax machine and they gave me the job, so that's how I got my first Lomo, really. One of the most exciting situations you can get into as a lomographer is traveling, really. Because you enter a space that you don't know, where everything is new to you. If I'm traveling, I shoot 4 times as much film as I do when I'm in London. When I traveled to Japan recently, I decided to go to the fish market at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is definitely not my time. That's really in the middle of the night for me, but in order to get my special Lomo moments, you know, from Tokyo, I wanted to go there. It's wholesale trading of tuna, so you walk into a big warehouse and you have 500 frozen tunas, you know, rolled up, lying there, ready to be auctioned. I spent about an hour with the auctioneers, trying to understand their system and trying to get as many shots off as possible, because this was the most exciting spot. But then I wandered off into the side streets of the market and met the people who had previously bought the tuna and now were chopping it into little pieces and selling it off to other fish sellers or selling it straight there as fresh sashimi or sushi. I spent 2 hours where I was just jumping around trying to capture everything, the smell, the sound, the colors. It comes across this place much more than walking around and asking someone, can I take your portrait? I would never do that as a lomographer. I let them get on with their thing if they let me get on with my thing. One of the pictures, for example, is of a fish seller. He didn't like me hanging around there. He didn't quite know what I was doing because I wasn't lifting the camera to my head, so I couldn't have been taking pictures. And I've got a picture of him looking at me, looking at my face in a kind of angry way. He doesn't realize that I'm taking a shot, but I like him for being angry with me almost, you know. It makes it real, and it is a real interaction. If I would have stood in front of him like this, there would have been nothing.
Lomo had already decided to shut down camera production, but the Lomographers had other ideas.
И тогда они появились у нас, и мы начали переговоры. Они сказали, что вот мы основали такое общество ломография, показали, что это такое, показали свои плакаты, уже сделанные. Очень интересно, на самом деле, мне очень понравилось. И сказали, мы хотим у вас быть эксклюзивными покупателями, хотим, чтобы это был нашим товаром, и мы бы его распространяли по всему миру как элемент ломографии. Я говорю, хорошо, это устраивает, на самом деле, и Lomo, и вас.
In the mid of 95, we started getting 1,000 cameras every month, and we really were able to get rid of them and to sell them.
Фотоаппарат был нам невыгоден, некоммерческая получалась сделка, потому что они могли заплатить определенную цену за этот фотоаппарат, а вот себестоимость его была гораздо больше.
And they were somehow starting to calculate really the cost of a camera, and finally they found out that the cost is much higher than they thought before. Before it was Soviet times, so there was no relation between costs and price. Price was political, costs were just fact.
So they decided to stop it. We got a fax to Vienna and they said, okay, no more cameras.
It was a real big problem for us.
Reaching the open space, having trespassed the limits of our native planet, is the greatest achievement of mankind. It was made possible by the immense work of astronomers. The history of astronomic development is the history of perfection of astronomic equipment. And Lomo, which is one of the oldest enterprises in St. Petersburg, has played its major role in this process.
When we visited first time Lomo factory, they were showing us the range of products, and the biggest product was a telescope in the Caucasus, which is the biggest telescope in the world, or used to be in the Soviet times. And this was also the biggest achievement of this factory. So immediately I was dreaming, I have to go there once in my life.
Серьезных примеров и больших побед Lomo является создание в 1976 году на то время самого крупного в мире телескопа с диаметром головного зеркала 6 метров. Это был революционный шаг в развитии астрономических.
So come on, let us see the telescope. Gibst du mal den Nikon? Можно сошедший, конечно. Александр, но у нас будет ключ туда. У нас особая экскурсия, и мы закопанные души.
You have this incredible telescope, like a big aluminium dome, like 40 meters high, and super architecture from the 70s.